Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you 10 character-driven book recommendations. So without any further ado, let's get into today's video. The first book that I'm recommending today is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Now in this book, we have a 10-year-old boy named Augustus, and the thing about Augustus is that he had a lot of surgeries as a child, and due to that, his face is prominently different from that of others as shown in the cover of this book, and he has to deal with a lot of things due to his appearance, due to just his appearance, and he's been homeschooled until he's 8 or 9 years old, and after that he's just put into the school where he has to deal with a lot of stuff. There are a lot of good people in Augustus's life, but there are also a lot of not so good people in his life, especially children, and how certain things children perceive and how it needs to be changed, that has been discussed well in this book. And we get the story of Augustus not only from his point of view, but also from the points of view of the people around him, like his close ones, like the friends and family of his. It is such a good story. Rather than the story of Augustus, the things which Augustus feels, that have been conveyed in a great way in this book. The next book that I'm recommending to you is a recent read, and it is also one of my most favorite reads of this year, and it is The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gower. In this book, we have an old trader named John Hancock, and one day he just gets this small mummified mermaid from the coast of Japan after his trade, and he starts to earn money by displaying this mermaid in various freak shows and exhibitions within the city. And the story is set up within this Georgian London in the last chunk of the 16th century. It is very well described by the author, and the atmosphere is so great. The other main character in the story is this lady named Angela, who works as a prostitute in a brothel, and at a point the storylines of Angela or Angelica, I don't remember her name properly, Angelica I think, Angelica and John Hancock's lives just intertwine, and at that point she asks him for a mermaid, and he tries and brings her another one. Though the title of the book has the mermaid in it, but the mermaid is not at all the main focus throughout the story. The main characters, that is John Hancock and Angelica, they are the characters who have been fleshed out very well, and their progress, their growth is shown in such a slow and gradual way. They are not developed in such a great way, but the experiences that they feel and that they have done in their life, they are the best things that you have to read about this. Read in this book. The next book that I'm recommending is a classic, and it is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Now, in this book, we have four sisters named Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy in their order of age. And of these four, Jo is my most favorite because she's a book nerd. And if you are a book lover, then you're going to read about a book lover inside a book. If that's not enough for you, I have more for you in order to tell about this book. This story happens during the time of the American Civil War, and each and every house has sent a male in order to fight for the country in the war. And the best thing about this book is that it explores the familial bonds in such a great and sweet way. Before getting into this book, I thought that this was going to be a tragic book, speaking about many problems and relationships in a family, and how they all go wrong, and it is going to be a sad ending. But trust me, this is not at all a sad book. It is such a sweet and happy book. It fleshes out the characters of all the four sisters in a great way. You just understand whom each and every sister is, and how the relationship between each other is, and how their relationship with their mother is. They're all so well written, and if you're looking for an easy classic to start reading, then you have to read this one because it is so easy to read, and after reading this one you will end up reading a lot more. And the four characters of the sisters are so excellent in every way. The next book that I'm recommending to you guys is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. It is a bit different from all the other books that I've taken up today, and the thing about this book is that in order to read this, you must have read the Grecian trilogy, which is the original trilogy written by Leigh Bardugo. And I'll not say that it is going to be a waste of time if you read those three and then pick up this one, because this is the Nikolai duology, but we have this other character named Zoya Nazelinsky, who's very greatly developed in this book. She's also very fun to read about in the Creation trilogy, but in order to understand whom she is and why are things in such a way between her and Nikolai, in this book you must have read that those three books, that is that original trilogy. And I'm sure that if you end up reading those three and then pick this up, you'll not at all be disappointed. Go into the book with a mind that you're going to get more of Zoya's character rather than Nikolai and the actual main character of the story. Then you will end up liking this. And the character work of Zoya in this was very, very great. Her backstory was good. It didn't feel stretched out or dragged or boring in any sense. It was so good, and I highly suggest you to try this one. The next two books that I'm going to recommend to you are by the same author, and they are both standalone books. They are Elantris and Warbreaker, both by Brandon Sanderson. First, we'll see something about Elantris. Now, in Elantris, we have the city called Elantris, in which the people who live are called the Elantrians. The Elantrians are the people who are affected by this disease called the Shayod, and after getting the Shayod, a person becomes an Elantrian and they get some godly powers, and using these powers, they help the people around them. Before 10 years from which the book actually starts, there is this cataclysmic event which takes place and destroys the whole of Elantris and makes it like a cursed city, and everyone that gets the Shayod and becomes an Elantrian afterwards, they are not considered as normal human beings. They are treated like abominations, and they are just thrown into Elantris, and they are not even taken care of ever. In the beginning of the book, what happens is that the crown prince of the city outside Atlantis, that is the kingdom next to Atlantis, that is Atlantis is a part of this kingdom, okay. That person, that crown prince Raoden, he gets the Shayod in the beginning of the book. He becomes an Atlantean and he is thrown into Atlantis, okay. It is rumored, okay, the kingdom, they just make the government, they make up a rumor and say that Raoden had died, rather than saying that he was struck by the Shayod, because it cannot be considered as something good. And he's just thrown into Atlantis, and he has to find a way in order to become the actual crown prince, because his father is not that much capable anymore. We also have this female lead called Serene, who's from another kingdom, and she'd been engaged to Raoden, and due to the sudden death of Raoden, Serene becomes a widow, because that is the custom that is being followed in this world. And Serene comes to this kingdom, and she starts to maneuver through the politics in the actual palace, and she tries to grab the throne in some way. We also have this antagonist character called Rathan, who is the leader of a huge religion, and he tries to wage war against all the nations that do not follow his own religion. The main thing about this is that Raoden is such a great cookie cutter. He's such a buttery good character. You will not end up not liking him. Sareen is even better than him, because she's so spunky. She's such a female lead material. She's not at all less in any way. She's the best character in this one, if you ask me. And Rathan, who's the antagonist, he's also good. Towards the end, the things that Rathan does, he just makes you fall in love with him. It is such a good story. And we also have ghosts which come and help the main characters in these books. If this is not at all enough, you will get a lot more while reading it, because I've just spoken about the main three characters. There are also a multitude of characters which I have not even spoken about, and each and every character that have been put out by Brandon Sanderson in this one are so intricate and so good. Now, Warbreaker, also by Brandon Sanderson. In this book, we have two princesses named Vivenna and Ciri, and of these two, Vivenna is the princess who's being trained in order to marry this god king in order to protect her kingdom from war. And Ciri is this tomboy character who's not that much scared of, and she's not trained in anything. But due to a twist of events which take place, instead of Vivenna, Ciri is married to the God King, and she does not know what to do ever after getting married. But she just tries to build up this relationship with him, and also maneuver what's going inside this palace and who are the actual controlling bodies within this kingdom. And on the other side, Vivenna is trying to save Ciri from this kingdom and outthrow them as a whole. Also, apart from this, we have this other main character called Vasher, who is kind of an outlaw. He's not a bad person. He is a good person in some ways. And the times during which Vasher comes in the story, they are so fun, and they are like hell of fast paced. The first 20 to 30 pages and the last 100 to 150 pages are the only times during which Vasher comes in the story, but They are so fun. Most people like Warbreaker due to its fast pace. It is a huge book, guys. It is nearly 700 pages long, but it is so fast paced. That's the main reason why people like it. But apart from that, I like this so much for the characters. The character work in this is so tasty, if you ask me. And if you end up reading this, you will definitely like it a lot. Next book that I'm recommending is Throne of Glass by Sir J Maas. Now, in this book, we have a female assassin named Selena Sardothian, who's just 17 years old, and she is the best assassin in this world where the story takes place. Selena has two sides of her character, which have been displayed throughout the book. The first one is the assassin character, as you can see here, and the next side is the girlish side of Selena. That is the thing which most people don't like about the series, but I think it is the thing which makes it stand out from normal series, because every time we see assassins as assassins, we see sweet girls as sweet girls, but she's a combination of both. She can be both things at the same time, and that's how actual people are in the world, right? So I do think Selena is like a real character. Most people don't like her because she seems so stupid and annoying at times, and that's how people actually are in the real world. And she is so fun to read about. The things that go on in her head, and how she plots in order to kill people, how she tries to build up such a beautiful relationship with other people. They have been masterfully done, if you ask me. It is such a fun book to read, and you have to read this one if you are expecting to read about fun characters and different characters. Next book that I'm recommending today is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. In this book, we have a little girl named Liesel, and she is grown by her foster parents, as her actual parents have died, and also her younger brother also died. This story takes place in Germany during the time of World War II, actually Nazi Germany. That's the best part about this book. We have this whole storyline of Hitler going on in the background, and how the things that he do affects the actual population who are living there. It is so great, guys. It is a slow book. It is so slow, but it is so atmospheric. It is so good, and it is narrated by Death. That's the main interesting thing about this book. How Death feels, how Death is a character in this book rather than any other thing. Those things are so real. How a person carrying out, bringing about the death of other people feels while doing that. They have been so masterfully written by the author in this book, and you definitely have to read this one. After reading this one, you can also watch the movie adaptation. I've heard that it is also good, but I've not watched it yet. The last two books that I'm going to recommend today are by the same author, and they are The Poet X and With the Fire on High, both by Elizabeth Acevedo. In these two books, young adult black girls are the protagonists, and in the first book, that is The Poet X, we have a girl named Xiomara, and she's doing school. She comes from this very conservative African American family who are like very much Christian in nature, and they don't want their girls to do things what they actually want to do in life. But Xiomara is so much passionate about writing, and she's such a good poet in every sense. Her mother doesn't accept that she has a brother who's younger to her, and their relationship is well balanced. It shows their relationship in a good way. There's not much of a plot, but the feelings of Xiomara, it can be felt by you due to the words that Elizabeth Acevedo writes. And also this is written in verse, so it will be easier to read and finish, and it is also very much lyrical in nature. The next one, With the Fire on High, deals with a girl who becomes pregnant while she's in high school. She gives birth to her daughter, and she grows her while she is studying, while she is learning to cook. Her goal in life is to open up a restaurant and become a chef there, and it is so good, guys. Both these stories, they actually show the feelings of these two girls from the point of view of the girls themselves. It is written, both of them are written in first person point of view. They are so good, and you definitely have to try these two. That's all for today, and if you do have any character driven book recommendations, do let me know in the comments below, because I like character driven books a lot, and I enjoy them the most compared to plot driven books. And if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.